I'm back. Well, this is, I think this is chapter 11. Well, we do have today quite a load of stuff that we're going to be doing in the electronics. Well, we've got to start off somewhere, and we might as well start off with the pickups. And why not? That's what I say. These are Fender pickups, just in case that guy comes on and says, you can't put Fender on. If you're one of the friendly guys, and there's lots of them on my channel, these are Fender pickups. And for the other guy, these are Fender pickups. Fender Custom 69 pickups. They're not signed by Abigail or anything like that, because it doesn't make any difference. I've had them before. That's one little aspect. We've got some nice gold screws. We've got the little board. That's all interesting in its own right. And the pots and the rest are in there. We've got a quick diagram that solves the problems that, well, the original one doesn't. Over there. And of course we've got the one of the stars of the show, not on me, this from Gilroy Guitars. Yeah, g'day. He knows who he is. And there he is. A beautiful, fantastic green pickguard. The guitar's over there, you can just see the end of it. But the pickguard's something else, isn't it? What I had in mind was putting in the pickups with a cream coloured cover and cream coloured knobs and the rest of it, so it all looks pretty good. I think that's like a plan. Anyway, what I'm going to do is, let's get down to this. This is, as I said, chapter 11. God knows where we'll end. Can't be that far now. Even got two strings on it over there. You might see them. So let's zoom in and let's get this thrown together as best we can, ready to be fitted into that guitar over there. Well, okay, here we are. The fantastic Fender Custom Shop 69 pickups. Well, why did Tony choose these? Why didn't he get those noiseless things and all the rest of it? Well, I could go into depths on the back here, but I'm not going to. Let's move that out of the way. The fact is, these pickups here, they sound like nothing else. Oh, I've got it wrong or something. No, I haven't. They do actually sound so different than everything else. They really do. And that's why I chose them. And what you've got is you've got your three pickups. Coming like that, I guess. Yeah, looks about right to me. As you can see, they're the old style, I think. Now they do give you some screws and things like that, but I've got some screws somewhere else on here. I've got some more other screws on here that are gold, and we'll take a look at them in a minute. So what we're going to do is whip these out, and what we want to do is get these covers removed. And here's my replacement ones, a nice creamy colour. I think that'll look good. Well, I know it will. I mean, surely anybody can do this, can't they? I'm sure they can. There's absolutely nothing to it. That's the great thing about it. And of course, I've got some equally dark coloured knobs that'll look good later. So here are the screws. Got enough there to be going on with, hopefully. And this is a diagram that came out of the pickups. They'll let you wire it as it should be. The only problem is that's not really suitable for what we're doing. But this one I pulled off the internet is, yeah, it's a bit different. So we'll come back to that. I also like to make sure that these screws here that we're going to be fitting in these pickups actually fit. Well, in any case, before we go much further, I just want to point out that these three pickups are all identical. they're all exactly the same. If we look on the back of the box, you can see quite clearly here that they're all 5.8K, all three of them. They're all 2.2 Henrys, and that's all that matters. They're all the same, basically. The wire lengths are the same, everything's the same, so you can fit them in any order, basically. And you can see that they've got a treble and a bass, and they've got a bit of mid in there, but this treble and bass has a sort of funny mix that makes you sound exactly like, well, similar to Hendrix. Now, as I said, these screws don't want to fit into these holes. Yeah, it's a very common problem, and one which you can have a lot of problems with. These are, even those screws that they came with, it's all trouble, right? They never want to fit. See, you've got to be so careful with the wires as well. What I would advise is that you start them all off from the back like this. And if you've got different screws like I have, start them off with the original and then use the other screws as you go. So I'm just going to do this one now. And there's the second one that I got in there. So we're slacking them off and fit them the other way around. The main issue with these really is the fact that you get the wax, because these have been potted, these pickups. So if you just take this screw and you just screw it in from behind, jiggle it around a bit, make sure it's gone all the way through. When you screw it back out, it's all going to fit like a glove. And as you can see, they've all got their little screws now fitted. It makes things a darn sight easier when you've got to fit them to the pickguard. And of course, it's also a good idea just to make sure that the screws that you're going to use actually do fit the holes like that. I've come across them where they don't, especially on that cheap stuff, you know, from China, where the holes just aren't right. Anyway, these look to be perfect, as I knew they would be from my friend in Australia. Yeah. You can use any one of two types of pressure underneath the pickups themselves. Either these rubber things that you've seen, you must have seen them, or the spring type. I think I'll probably use the rubber ones. This might be a slight advantage when you're fitting them because they stick on the end of the screw much better. There's one thing here, all about fitting, and specifically on these 69 pickups. If we take a look at one, the wires have to go that way, right? There they are, going that way. And if you look at the pickup itself, you'll find that the pole pieces are very staggered. In fact, this B pole piece down here, I know it's a B because it's the most sunk in one, and that's always the case on these. So you know that that pickup, this is the purported middle one, although they're all the same, it's going to fit exactly like that. And there's the advantage of the rubber. It holds the screw in place, whereas from experience, when you're trying to use these things, they're all over the show, so I tend to dump them. Now I'm only fitting these pickups in loose for now, but they look pretty nice, I think. Have a look. What do you think of that? It's got that sort of nice creamy colour, a bit like the neck and the body, and that's the reason I chose that, and the gold is obvious. I'll go and fit the other two, and that's roughly what yours should look like when you've got them in there. You can see, like I said, the B is always lower. Well, from here on in, we've actually got to use this diagram. I'm going to put it down over there, out of the way for now. But that's the one we'll use because we've got all these bits in this packet up here that have got to come out. Well, what have we got? Well, first of all, we've got the Fender logo and the Fender packet for the Fender friends. We've got the PCB that I'll put on that. What else have we got? We've got some solder that doesn't count. And by the way, the diagram here, there's nothing that much wrong with it, but there's a few things missing off it that you can't easily follow. For example, if you look at the diagram that this comes with, I happen to know that TBX is dual gang, but it doesn't easily show you exactly how it goes. Well, it doesn't to me, so I've got the other one. So let's put that over there for now. A few bits and pieces that it did come with. Yeah. So in here I've got a load of stuff. When I can get it open. Little knobs, washers and all sorts. There's a resistor and a capacitor. Yeah, there it is. And we've also got some screws. What for? Well, who knows, we'll see. And we've got this packet of pots and things. So let's open them. There's the TBX one. It's like a dual gang thingy. I'll call it a thingy. It was a bit tight as well. You've got a sort of centre detent on these. A centre indent. Could call it a detent. And then we've got a, what's this here? We've got a, doesn't say. And we've got a CTS 50k. On the diagram, it says here, volume mid boost TBX, but it doesn't say, well then I'm going to refer to this one, aren't I? Maybe this will tell me what goes where. It might not. The volume pots are 50k, that's 250 and that's 250. So there you have it. Another thing you'll notice here is this is like a stereo jack, and the reason is this turns that board and its power on or off when you plug in. So that's important. And I've got my Fender that's made in Mexico. It's not made in America at all. Yeah, made in Mexico. Yeah, at least my two body parts from Warmoth are actually made in America. And you've got the switch. Seems to work. Yeah, and you've got two screws and two coloured ends that none of them match what I'm doing. So those can go over there for now with the other bits, can't they? And I'll get two screws. So we could sort of screw that in now, all nice and easily. You've got to make sure that these fit again. Always check this. I mean, this guy at Gilroy Guitars is really good. It's always best to check on this stuff, that the screws actually do fit. On Gilroy Guitars boards like this, they do. So I'm going to fit mine like that, with this facing out. I'm going to screw this in now, and I'll see you in a moment. There you go. What you don't want to do is start over tightening these screws into the wood, because this, remember, this one's real wood, and the result is, well, exactly as you'd expect. It seems to work perfect for me. It'll probably work perfect for you too. Well, what I'd recommend is we fit in these pots next. That comes later. So what you've got over here is you've got one or two screws, and you've got 1, 2, 3 of them, and 3 of them, and this one is for this bigger one here. We don't need these either yet, these little components, they can come later. So you put your pot on and away you go. Tighten it up, but don't over tighten it. And as for the tone, well, it's the wrong colour, so that can go walkies. So you've got to be very careful with these, because you can see that it doesn't quite fit. Okay, you've got to push that in really carefully. And if it is tight, well, my advice is to not push it in. My advice is to just get your little reamer and ream that hole very slightly. Now, I don't have an exact size reamer. I've got a tapered reamer, but it's a little bit small. What you can do is almost use it like a file, and that's what I tend to do. So I'm going to go and do that now. You can take the thing like so, and just like that, and push as you go, and it will clean out the small hole. It's not far off, so what we don't want to do is to put too much in there. See, it's in already. It's that simple. Now, as you can see on the second one, it sticks way too far through, so we're going to have to get another nut from somewhere and adjust it back so that it sticks through about as much as that other one there. Okay, well, you can see how I fitted mine. It's sort of slightly angled in on those two, and this one's pretty much central. If I turn it over, you can see how they stick out. Yeah, it's pretty much the same on all three, and that's how you want to get yours, really. You want them being, well, pretty much the same throughout, just like that. And if you notice, I put a little washer underneath each one, which stops this from digging into the wood or the plastic or the whatever it is that you've done with yours. I'm just going to tighten them up and I'll be back. When I do it, I tend to use a wrench, hold everything from behind, and don't overdo it. The next thing, you might want to do this the old-fashioned way with a bit of masking tape. All you do, peel a bit off, snip a armour, put it down over there, cut the length you need, and you just sort of wrap it round these wires, which is sort of the way that Fender used to do it. In quote the old days, I think. That's the sort of thing I've seen when I've been looking at pickups. You can see there that they sort of come round sharpish and round the back, so they're coming round there, they're coming down here and round this bit. So I bought my stuff sort of round like that because I really do know that this area here with this wiring can be a bit of a problem on your Strat. When you come to put the pickguard in, what happens is it won't go down. So I like to route them accordingly. And you'll notice on the diagram that all the blacks are cut off and go there. And then there's one or two more leading off wherever, which I'll be doing a bit later. So these blacks can be sort of cut about there, snip back a bit and then down the edge. Yeah, you just snip them off, peel them back and stick them on there. I've also just sort of separated out which is pickup 3, pickup 2 and pickup 1. We'll call them 3, 2 and 1. Easy way of doing things. So I'm just going to strip these back so we can fit them on there, and then we can start getting down to the actual wiring as opposed to just faffing around as we are. Yeah, I wouldn't trim them yet, I'd do them as you go. Okay, well, to carry on, here we are. Another day. I'm partway through the wiring, and I just want to run through the things that I use so I can get the wiring done really professionally, if you will. I've got a thing for stripping wire, that's pretty useful. Pair of pliers. I've got one of these that's like again, it's a stripper, sort of cutter, sort of great for bending wire and stuff like that. I've got some of these things which are heat shrink. That's what they are. They fit over the thing, over the wire, and it just stops them touching anything else and shorting out and that sort of thing, which is all a good idea. And I've got this little wiring set of 6 different coloured wires. Now if I cut a little piece of one of them off and we just have a quick look at this, you'll notice the thing about this wire is that if I bend it, it all stays in place very nicely. And part of the reason for that, if we sort of strip a bit off, assuming it will, it's not the best of strippers, like I said. Yeah, but you can see it. If you can see it there, let me think, there, you can see actually that it's just one wire. Now, often what you'll get with these sort of pieces of cabling, as opposed to multiple wire, what you'll get is you'll get the centre made of a sort of aluminium, copper coated sort of rubbish. And when you use that wire, as you could, what you'll find is the slightest amount of bends and the rest of it, it's going to snap. This one here is brass. I don't get any more of it off, but it may not look it, but if you go and scrape it, I can assure you it's brass on the inside. Yeah, so we're ready to get down to it near enough. There's only a couple of other things I need. One is the diagram. I have a second diagram that I loaded off the internet, and I have some instructions from First Avenue Guitars that sort of tell you that, well, everything isn't quite right, but this is where they go. So I'm just going to get on with wiring this, and when I've done it I'll show you, because there's not really that much to show you, me sitting here soldering bits of wire. Oh, and one last thing, I tend to use a big fat gun so I can get the temperature right on there when I'm trying to get the grounds done and all that sort of thing. Okay, boys and girls, I've yet to shrink the heat shrink, but that won't be far off. These are the two that go off down to the input. There'll be a third one off there which I'm going to call blue, and that's going to go to the negative of the battery, and the positive of the battery I'll go to this one. You can see it's sticking out, raring to go. These two here are grounds for the one goes to the tremolo, this longer one, and the shorter one goes inside the body somewhere. When I actually get to that presently. And apart from that, it's a runner, as they say. So what I'm going to do now is probably heat seal this off, and then it's all done nicely. And then I'll get to taking a look at the guitar body. Okay, well, it's time to move on a little bit further now, and what we need to do is to get some of this copper tape down inside these areas so that it can shield the spurious signals in the airwaves from the guitar's pickups and other bits and pieces, you know, the wiring as well. Now, I've used this one, eco-fused copper foil tape, double-sided conductive premium quality shields against RF and EM interference. What's important is it's what it says there, double-sided conductive, so it means that it's conducted on this outside and it's also conductive on the inside underneath. So when I want to solder a wire to some of the top part later on, it'll work. And if you don't have this sort, if you have the other sort, you end up patching everything up, and oh, it's a nightmare. So this is the one you want. Well, there you go. I'm sure that some people would do a far neater job than me. But one of the things I learned from doing a few different guitars is this, that to be honest, it doesn't matter how neat it is, it's whether it works, and as long as they all overlap on this particular copper foil type, you'll be fine. It'll all work as intended. It's going to have a wire soldered in here, and it's going to have a wire that goes through to the back of this, so it's all good. Of course, the next thing to do is to get the battery box screwed on, but before I do, I just want to show you this in case I didn't before. The battery box holds two 9-volt batteries, you know, them square type, like you put in a Warmoth. And I could have had a single battery box, but I didn't. I had a dual battery box, and I've wired them in parallel, not in series. You don't want to do it in series, that would be 18 volts. But in parallel, it will give you, well, more current, and it will last for longer. And that's the thing. So even if you fitted one battery in there, or two in there, any one battery, or any combination, it'd still work. And so that's why I did it like that. So now you know. So it's almost time to fit on the pickguard, and just make sure that we can actually get audio. You know, it works. Well, I'm going to gradually fit this on here and then show you how it works. Well, hopefully. Okay, well, I don't know how well you can see it, but I've got the power cable there coming out of the battery, going onto the board. I've got the negative coming round here and coming out as this blue one. And I've got the black and white, which is the ground and the hot, coming to here also for my little switch. I've also got a ground that goes down to this copper and is soldered on, and another black cable that you can see here that's going off through into the tremolo. So this is basically nigh on enough ready to just sit in place. We can then do this, do the one at the back later, I guess. As long as we got something coming out of these, that's all that matters, and that's what I'll be testing once we set this in place. Okay, boys and girls, I took the neck off because it was easier to fit this, because it's thicker than a normal pickguard. Not much thicker, but enough to make it just difficult, so I just took it off. Okay, well, we've got it plugged in, as you can see. It's just plugged into a little test amp over there so we can hear what's going on. I'm on the bass. If you just tap it, you can hear it. Sounds different than this one. Okay, so that's working. Go to the middle. That's working. That now isn't. And the same with this one. That's working. Those aren't. And that's a test of the pickups. And of course, then we've got the bits and pieces down here. I can turn this up or down. You can hear it. That's the boost, I think. Here's the tone. And here's the volume. There's got to be swapped, Luke. Volume and tone. But you can hear it. All works. And that's the test. That's simple. Okay, so also fitted that. That's ready to screw on. I'm just going to put the neck in approximately so I can go and drill these holes. Okay, well, we're ready to drill. I've got the drill here. It's a tiny little thin drill, just big enough for these little screws that go in around the pickguard and the rest of it. So I'm going to go and drill them now and fit the screws, and I'll see you in a minute. Yeah, sounds like an idea, doesn't it? And there is the guitar with the top on. We know it all works. Pickguard screwed on, neck screwed on. I wonder what you think. I think it looks pretty cool myself. Really does. And quick look around the back. I did solder the wire on in the end. And I've only got one battery in at the moment, so that's also pretty good. So there it is, pretty messy on the bench. I'll call it a bench, it's actually the wife's table. Oh my God. Don't go there. Yeah. So there it is. It's coming along now, isn't it? Well, what's next? Well, I've got a little tip to fit on there. I know the electrics work, I know the neck's pretty reasonable. We've got to come back to this tremolo and the setting up of the guitar, which won't be rocket science, I don't think. This one doesn't look actually that bad. It all seems to work as well, which is, well, a bonus. So in the next one we'll be setting the thing up. Another thing, by the way, I was just feeling around there. When you're doing this and you're soldering up the top here, just put something on the body that keeps these tiny little bits off the finish. As it happens, mine have come off absolutely dead easy, but yours might not, and then you'd have little dots around it. Just a little Tony tip, really. So that's it for now. Don't forget to go to www.tonymackenzie.com. Interesting place, if nothing else. And in the next video, well, I might even play it. You never know. We might get to play it. But we're certainly going to be setting it up. And if I've got time to make a video that isn't too long, we'll play it as well. That could be a good or a bad thing, depending on what works. Yeah. So until next time, get out of here.